Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining this morning. Let's do Radha Madhav. We'll take it from there. Jai Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari, Jai Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari. Gopijana Vallabha, Jayo Gira Varidari. Gopijana Vallabha, Jayo Gira Varidari. Yashodanandana Vrajjana Ranjana, Yashodanandana Vrajjana Ranjana, Yamuna Tiravanchari, Jai Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari, Jai Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hari Hari Bol. So today we're doing chapter 2, verses 3 to 5. So I'm just going to change the sharing. So share, let's turn that off. And right, so everybody can see. We got verse 3 there, chapter 1. Make sure I got the right one. Okay, let's read this. Ya Swanubhavana Kila Shruti Saramekam Adi Atam Deepam Atiti Rashtam Tamo Andam Smarinam Karunayaha Puranguyam Tam Vyasasonyum Upayami Gurum Munninam. So Yaha is he who Swa Anubhavam, self-assimilated or experienced. Akhila, all around. Shruti, the Vedas. Saram, frame. Ekam, the only one. Adi Attam, transcendental. Deepam, torchlight. Atiti, tirishatam, desiring to overcome. Tama, andam, deeply dark material existence. Samsarinam or samsarinam of the materialistic man. Karunaya, out of causeless mercy. Aha, said. Puran, supplement to the Vedas. So the Puranas, I guess, are their supplements. Guhyam, very confidential. Tam, unto him. Vyasunum, the son of Vyasadev. Upyami, let me offer my obeisances. Gurum, the spiritual master. Muninam, of the great sages. So seems like Sutta Goswami is paying his obeisances to his spiritual master now. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Sukadeva Goswami, the spiritual master of all sages, the son of Vyasadev, who out of his great compassion for those gross materialists who struggle to cross over the dark regions of material existence, spoke this most confidential supplement to the cream of Vedic knowledge after having personally assimilated by experience. Let's pray. Om Jnanatimirasya Jnananjana Shalakya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Staptam Yena Bhutle Samrupa Akadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnava Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadhvetam Savadhutam Krishna Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shivishakamritamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kant Radha Kant Namastute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavan Veshwari Vishabhanu Sutadevi Pranmami Hari Priye Vacha Kalpato Prehescha Kripa Sindhu Vacha Patitana Pavnebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namo Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasti Go Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So we still on the subject of the 6 questions of the sages they were asking in chapter 1. And thus, due to the compassion, they want to know how they can help mankind as Kali Yuga is approaching, because they know that people are going to become lazy and atheistic in this yuga, so they want to help. Now, in this verse, it says Swanubhavam. So, Swanubhavam says, Yaha Swanubhavam, he who is Swanubhavam, self-assimilated. So, Srila Prabhupada explains that Swanubhavam is a very important word in this verse, because that's glorifying the qualities of Sukdev Goswami. So self-assimilated, experienced, and in Srimad Bhagavatam, of course, because that's the topic. So he's experienced, self-realized in Srimad Bhagavatam. He is personally convinced about this topic, and he can appreciate and understand the nature of God. So he's Sutta Goswami is glorifying his spiritual master with these qualities, that he's self-realized, he's convinced about Srimad Bhagavatam and his commentary, and he can appreciate and understand nature of God. So when we compare that to ourselves, so we're reading Srimad Bhagavatam, we want to assimilate the subject, we want to understand it, we want to realize it, experience it, and we want to be personally convinced of what we're reading, right? And we want to appreciate and understand the nature of God through the subject that we're reading. But at the moment, we may not be experienced or self-realized or completely convinced. We know the philosophy, but are we really convinced? But at least what we can do for now is appreciate and understand the nature of God, his powers, his potencies. So let's just do that for now until I really get real attraction to the topic and understanding, and our knowledge is awakened. For now, let's try and appreciate and understand the nature of God. So that's a start. And eventually, we will get self-realized and we will be convinced of what we are saying as well. Okay, let's just continue on that. So in this prayer, Srila Sutta Goswami practically summarizes the complete introduction of Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is a natural supplementary commentary on the Vedanta Sutras. The Vedanta Sutras or the Brahma Sutras were compiled by Vyasadeva with a view to presenting just the cream of Vedic knowledge. Srimad Bhagavatam is a natural commentary on this cream. Srila Sukadeva Goswami was a thoroughly realized master of the Vedanta Sutra, And consequently, he also personally realized the commentary, Srimad Bhagavatam, and all just to show his boundless mercy upon bewildered materialistic men who want to cross completely over in essence. He recited for the first time this confidential knowledge. First time, so it's been spoken for the first time. There is no point in arguing that a materialistic man can be happy. No materialistic creature, be he the great Brahma or an insignificant ant, can be happy. I guess we're not meant to be happy in this material world, not materially, at least anyway. Everyone tries to make a permanent plan for happiness, but everyone is baffled by the laws of material nature. Therefore, the materialistic world is called the darkest region of God's creation. Yet the unhappy materialist can get out of it simply by desiring to get out of it. So we don't want to get out of it. This is our weakness. We're happy in a way. We might complain about things, but when it comes to it, when we give the option, we think, nah, it's not too bad, we'll get used to it, or it's okay. It's probably just me, like that. So we don't want to get out of it. Unfortunately, they are so foolish that they don't want to escape. Therefore, they are compared to the camel. So Srila Prabhupada gives an example of a camel who relishes thorny twigs because he likes the taste of twigs mixed with blood. He doesn't realize that it is his own blood and that his tongue is being cut by the thorn. So his tongue is being cut, the blood is coming out, and it tastes sweet. His own blood is tasting sweet, and he's enjoying, drinking his own blood. Similarly, to the materialist, his own blood is as sweet as honey. And although he is always harassed by his own material creations, he does not wish to escape. Such materialists are called karmis. Out of hundreds and thousands of karmis, only a few may feel tired of a material engagement and desire to get out of the labyrinth. Such intelligent persons are called jnanis. The Vedanta Sutra is directed to such jnanis. But Srila Vyasadeva, being the incarnation Supreme Lord, could foresee the misuse of the Vedanta Sutra by unscrupulous men, and therefore he personally supplemented the Vedanta Sutra with the Bhagavad Puran. It is clearly said that this Bhagavatam is the original commentary on the Brahma Sutras. Srila Vyasadeva also instructed the Bhagavatam to his own son, Srila Sukadeva Goswami, who was already at the liberated stage of transcendence. Srila Sukadeva realized it personally and then he explained it. By the mercy of Srila Sukadeva, the Bhagavad-Vedanta Sutra is available for those sincere souls who want to get out of material existence. So by mercy of Srila Sukadeva and mercy of Srila Prabhupada, we have the Bhagavatam available to us. Otherwise, we would never have this facility. Srimad Bhagavatam is the one unrivaled commentary on the Vedanta Sutra. Sripad Shankaracharya intentionally did not touch it because he knew that the natural commentary would be difficult for him to surpass. He wrote his Sharirak Bhashya, and his so-called followers deprecated the Bhagavatam as some new presentation. One should not be misled by such propaganda directed against the Bhagavatam by the Mayavadi school. From this introductory shloka, the beginning student should know that Srimad Bhagavatam is the only transcendental literature meant for those who are Paramahansas and completely freed from the material disease called malice. The Mayavadis are envious of the personal Godhead, despite Sripad Shankaracharya's admission that Narayan, the personal Godhead, is above the material creation. The envious Mayavadi cannot have access to the Bhagavatam, but those who are really anxious to get out of the material existence but may take shelter of this Bhagavatam because it is uttered by the liberated Srila Sukadeva Goswami. It is a transcendental torchlight by which one can see perfectly the transcendental absolute truth realized as Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagwan. So that's the absolute truth in 3 stages. So Srila Prabhupada explaining that we are trying to find happiness, but unfortunately we're looking in the wrong place. We are looking at the reflection of happiness, because this material world is actually a reflection of the spiritual world. It's not reality as such. It's an illusion. If it's reality, it's a temporary reality. So, we can consider it as like an illusion, and it's a reflection. It's just a temporary base for us souls who are bewildered. So, Lord has, created this mirage for us so we can here come and assimilate or simulate, I would say, our desires and our loading over. So, we can, it's like flying a plane and, simulating it. So, you want to fly a plane, but first you have to do the simulation. But in this case, we are misinterpreting our constitutional position. But we want to be like Krishna, so Krishna has created this material world, says, okay, you can be the kings here and enjoy yourself, and then realize that it's not easy or simple as you think, and there is a lot of misery attached to it. So the soul actually is naturally happy. It's Satchit Ananda. It's always blissful in its true state. So because the material world is incompatible, we're not meant to be here. It's material, we are spiritual, so it's incompatible. So we never find that happiness that we're looking for, because it's only happy in a spiritual state. It can't be happy in a material state. But it's okay to learn our lesson. From here, we can learn that this is not our position, what we're trying to do or achieve. So Srila Prabhupada explains that intelligent human beings must always remember that the soul obtains a human form after an evolution of many millions of years in the cycle of transmigration. The material world is sometimes compared to an ocean, and the human body, once you get the human body, is compared to a solid boat designed especially to cross this ocean. Until you have the human body, you don't have that boat. In an animal state, that boat is not available. The Vedic scriptures and the Acharyas or saintly teachers are compared to expert boatmen who can guide us. And the facilities of the human body are compared to favorable breezes that help the boat ply smoothly to its desired destination. If with all these facilities that we are getting now, right? Well, we have all these facilities, a human being does not fully utilize his life for self-realization, he must be considered Atma Ha, or killer of the soul. It's like spiritual suicide. If we don't take advantage of all these facilities that we got the body, we got the knowledge, we got the guidance, right? All the facilities are there. And if we are not taking advantage of these facilities, we go verse by verse, Srimad Bhagavatam, if people are not taking advantage, then they are losing out, basically. This is a good opportunity, and if we don't use it, then there has to be some priority in life, and you pray to Krishna that I can make this my priority. Please make everything else literally easier, so I can make this my priority. So this Atmaha verse is in Ishapanishad verse 3. So look open there. And another one is Dukhalam Shashvatam 8:15 of Bhagavad-Gita. Mam opetya punya janma dukhalam shashvatam napnuvanti mahatmana samsiddhim paramam gatha. So after attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries, because they attained the highest perfection. So we don't realize that we had a very good thing going up there in the spiritual world, and we swapped it for the second best. if that material world. So because in the material world, happiness is very, if we do get a little bit of happiness, which can't be compared to the ocean of happiness in the spiritual world, if we do get it, it's bhoga tyagya, right? So you enjoy something, and then you have to renounce it for a bit, and then you can come back. You can't continuously enjoy anything. Really, whatever we're doing, we can't continuously enjoy it. And it doesn't get more enjoyable, it gets less and less enjoyable. Whatever we're doing, it just gets less enjoyable. You have to leave it and then come back to it. Whether it's something we eat, or some people we meet, or maybe you watch certain kind of movies or whatever. After a bit, it just gets a bit boring. Some socializing gets a bit boring. If you leave it for a bit, then you go back, and then you sort of start enjoying again. This continuous enjoyment of anything material is like, it's the sweetness wears out of it. But with the spirituality, the sweetness increases every time. You get more and more sweetness from it. And Srila Prabhupada explains some different sources of happiness. So happiness from objects is called bhukti, sensory pleasure, right? And happiness from soul is soul's liberation, mukti, in the category of happiness from the soul, or Brahma Sukha. Happiness from the Lord is called Param Anand Sukha. That's in happiness in the Lord is, or it can be Aishwarya Sukha as well. So there's different kind of happiness. And we try to enjoy the bhukti. And some may want to enjoy mukti, but you will get tired of this mukti or bhukti because they're really both material in their own way. The best type of happiness is Paramanand Sukha. That should be our target. So we're going to go into the next verse, which I think you all recognize because I just recited it earlier. So it's Narayam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Naruttamam Devim Sarvit Vyasam Tato Jem Uduriyat. So Narayanam, the personality of Godhead. Namha Kritya, after offering respectable obeisances. Naram Cha Eva and Narayan Rishi. So like Narayan, Nara Uttamam, the supermost human being. Devim, the goddess. Saraswati, the mistress of learning. Vyasam, Vyasdev, Tatha, thereafter, Jem, all that is meant for conquering. Udiriye, be announced. So before reciting this Srimad Bhagavatam, which is a very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead. Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasdev, the author. So here, just to explain that Narayan, actually the two people, but they are just considered like one unit, Narayan Rishi. They're actually two. So Narayan, and actually Narayan is obviously Narayan, and Nar is actually Arjun, but they come as Narayan. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada, all the Vedic literatures and the Puranas are meant for conquering the darkest region of material existence. The living being is in the state of forgetfulness of his relation with God due to his being overly attracted to material sense gratification from time immemorial. His struggle for existence in the material world is perpetual, and it is not possible for him to get out of it by making plans. If he at all wants to conquer this perpetual struggle for existence, he must re-establish his eternal relation with God. So he must re-establish. That means we've sort of cut ourselves off with God and our eternal relationship with Him, because our eternal relationship is translate, service to God, loving service to God. We are servants, eternal servants, and we cut that relationship with Him. And yet, He still, we've sort of abandoned God, but He didn't abandon us. He still gave us this home, and He's always with us in every type of body. He's there, super soul, always fulfilling our desires and looking after us, and just waiting for us. If He at all wants to conquer this perpetual struggle for existence, He must reestablish His eternal relation with God. And one who wants to adopt such remedial measures must take shelter of literature such as Vedas and Puranas. Foolish people say that Puranas have no connection with the Vedas. However, the Puranas are supplementary explanation of the Vedas, intending for different types of men. All men are not equal. There are men who are conducted by the mode of goodness, others who are under the mode of passion, and others who are under the mode of ignorance. So the Vedas and Puranas, there's something for everyone, whichever stage you're in, wherever you're comfortable, they give you that, because they will tell you later on why that's for. The Puranas are so divided that any class of men can take advantage of them and gradually regain the lost position and get out of the hard struggle for existence. Srila Sutta Goswami shows the way of chanting the Puranas. This may be followed by persons who aspire to be preachers of the Vedic literatures and Puranas. Srimad Bhagavatam is a spotless Purana, though Mahapurana. It is especially meant for them who desire to get out of the material entanglement permanently. So you got different stages. You got ignorance, passion, and goodness. There's something for everyone there that they can use, they can practice, and then you realize that there has to be something higher. So you would sort of move on to the next stage, higher stage, to realize that this what you're doing is it's really not the best. There has to be something. So you move on from passion, from ignorance to passion practice, then to goodness practice, and then you realize even goodness is material. You move on to pure goodness. So Srila Prabhupada explains that after glorifying spiritual master, Sutta Goswami, he pays respects or his obeisance to Narayan, and thus Krishna himself, the absolute truth, the subject of Srimad Bhagavatam, because that's what Bhagavatam is based on, Krishna himself, his glorification. And Narayan is the presiding deity of Srimad Bhagavatam. That's why we pay obeisances to Narayan. And Saraswati Devi, she's the goddess of learning and the power of Srimad Bhagavatam. Right? So when we pay obeisances to them all, there's a reason. And we ask them, author of Srimad Bhagavatam. So in one way or the other, they're all connected. So Narayan is the object. Narayan is the presiding deity. Saraswati Devi is the goddess of learning and the power of Srimad Bhagavatam, and Vyasadeva is the author of Srimad Bhagavatam. So this verse is so important. We have to remember all these personalities when we recite Srimad Bhagavatam. And we have to be grateful to all these personalities for making available this divine knowledge for us, for shining the torchlight in the darkened world. So it's very important that we meditate on that. I recite it every time, but I don't think I really meditated on properly of what I'm saying or who I am saying it to. So it's very important to think about those personalities. Think about Narayan, Namaskritya. So Narayan and Saraswati, Vyasadeva, must think about them at the same time. And Srila Prabhupada goes on to explain that the Vedas and Puranas are for everyone, whichever mode they're in. There's something of interest for each one. The idea is to elevate you to a higher mode. By showing your futility of the mode you are following, it shows you that, look, what you're doing, it's okay, but it's not everything. It actually tells you that. Almost like a person who's very lazy and always sleeping, suddenly finds a purpose in life and becomes very active and certainly earns a lot of money. So it's like, this example again, because like somebody could be very lazy, always sleeping, more of ignorance, but suddenly something clicks in him, he has realization, he gets out of bed and starts making money, and he might have a very good brain and a lot of quality, a lot of talent, and suddenly he becomes in the mode of passion and starts. And I've seen people do that, and so it's possible. So it's like that. Somebody practicing mode of ignorance will certainly go on to mode of passion. Then they might go on to a mode of goodness like that. So that's possible. Because one of the reason is that, or even though you're doing things in a mode, one of the modes is done under control, is done under guidance. So that's the important thing. An example is given here. So it said that mam saha kadati iti mamsa. So mamsa means meat. Here's example that is said in Chaitanya Charitamrita that is I am now eating the flesh of an animal who will someday in the future be eating my flesh. So when you're chanting that mantra, then you sort of become aware of what I'm doing. I'm eating meat, and this same animal might eat me one day because I might be in the same situation, right? That's the guidance to remind her that you are eating this meat, and one day that meat will eat you. So we have to be careful. And so these people who are eating meat under guidance, they have to, like, from what I can remember, they have to kill the animal themselves, and have to do mantras and then eat it. But suddenly, start it's like Magrari, you start realizing that what am I doing? Just make you aware. If you just eating things like subconsciously, not in thinking about them, you might not realize. But when you are doing something consciously, then your brain starts thinking that what am I doing? This is like sin, this is silly. And yes, I might get a reaction for this one day, I might be eaten. So the Vedas are like that. They might say you can eat meat, but then they also remind you, look, there's consequences to what you're doing, so be careful. So by following the Vedas, the person slowly becomes purified, and they'll get the realization not to eat meat. And that's the advantage of associate with the Vedas. So similarly, a constant association with Srimad Bhagavatam, constant chanting, constant association with the devotees, we will realize that it's time to get out. Association is so important, and association again and again, it just increases our interest and attractiveness to that. Whether you're associating with somebody, who's materialistic, you associate with them, then your material interest will increase and increase every time you associate with them. Your material interest will get bigger and bigger and bigger, and then you'll fall. Same with the spirituality, your interest will increase and increase and increase, and then you get attracted to spirituality. That's the power of association. So we have to be careful, what we associate with. Right, so the next verse. So verse 1 to 5. Munyaha sadhu prishtoham Bhaktavi lokamangalam yad kritha Krishna samparshno yen atma suprasiddhati. So munyaha, O sages, sadhu, this is relevant. Prishta, question, aham, myself, bhavad bihi, by all of you, loka, the world, mangalam, welfare, yad, because, kritha, made, Krishna, the personality Godhead, samparshna, relevant question, yena, by which, atma, self, and super siddhati, completely pleased. Munha sadhu prishtoham gavdavi loka mangalam yad kritha Krishna samparshno yena atma super siddhati. So, O sages, I have been justly questioned by you. Your questions are worthy because they relate to Lord Krishna and so are of relevance to the world's welfare. and only questions of this sort are capable of completely satisfying the self. So important questions if they are connected to Krishna. Since it has been stated here and after that in the Bhagavatam, the absolute truth is to be known. The questions of the sages of Naimisharanya are proper and just because they pertain to Krishna, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the absolute truth. In Bhagavad-Gita 15:15, the Personality of Godhead says, it is all the Vedas, in all the Vedas there is nothing but the urge for searching after him. Lord Krishna, thus the questions that pertain to Krishna are the sum and substance of all the Vedic inquiries. The whole world is full of questions and answers. The birds, beasts, and men are all busy in the matter of perpetual questions and answers. In the morning, the birds in the nest become busy with the question and answers, and in the evening, those same birds come back and again become busy with question and answers. The human being, unless he's fast asleep at night, is busy in questions and answers. The businessmen in the market are busy with question and answers, and so also the lawyers in the court, and the students in the schools and colleges. The legislators in the parliament are also busy with question and answers, and the politicians and the press representatives are all busy with question and answers. So we just, all the time, we are asking questions. We are asking for updates, aren't we, all day long. What's the update? Or, what's happening today? What's happening tomorrow? What's happening next week? And we're looking, even our WhatsApp groups, what's happening? What have they written? What date is this going to happen? Or who is going to give class? We're always asking questions. Although they're gone making such question and answers for their whole lives, they are not at all satisfied. Satisfaction of the soul can only be obtained by question and answers on the subject of Krishna. Krishna is our most intimate master, friend, father or son, and object of conjugal love. Forgetting Krishna, we have created so many objects of question and answers, but none of them are able to give us complete satisfaction. All things but Krishna give temporary satisfaction only. Because it's a temporary world, so satisfaction temporary, happiness temporary, relationships temporary, everything is temporary. Soul is come and go, come and go. We're always switching over. We're always switching over to different kind of happinesses. We're changing our friends, because maybe our interests have changed, our location has changed. We're always looking for something different. We cannot live for a moment without being questioned or without giving answers. Because Srimad Bhagavatam deals with question and answers that are related to Krishna, we can derive the highest satisfaction only by reading and hearing this transcendental literature. One should learn the Srimad Bhagavatam and make an all-around solution to all problems pertaining to social, political, or religious matters. Srimad Bhagavatam Krishna, the sum total of all things. Interesting. So we're talking about, we ask so many questions. All day long we're asking questions. And she was saying that why we don't ask questions that really matter. We're asking questions all day long, small questions, big questions, but we don't ask questions that really matter. Questions that can release us from struggle of life. Right? When we ask that question, it turns our life upside down in a good way. So 180 degrees turn, and we all see in our lives turn 180 degrees, not 360, 180 degrees. And like when we are sleeping, we're awake. When we awake, we are sleeping. And we're eating different things, associating with different people, doing different things, using our rooms for different reasons. Me and Radharani were just laughing this morning. Our temple room used to be a cinema room. At one time, we had a big screen there and surround sound and everything. Was when we moved in, we wanted a cinema room, which we had, and then that all was taken out, and now it's a temple of Krishna. So things change when you start asking questions. Things change, and our life is turned upside down in a good way. All our beliefs, our attachments, our associates, eating habits, sleeping habits, everything changes. Our way of enjoyment changes. And like it's hard to believe. Other people can't believe, we can't believe that things we didn't imagine doing, we are not doing. So Srila Prabhupada says that Krishna is our most intimate friend, our master, friend, father, son, and object of our conjugal love. He's with us life after life, body after body. He is a real relative. Other relations are temporary, only for one life. He is the only reliable source, right? Even friends and family, they let us down. Krishna never lets us down. Other people make promises, but they are taken away from us because of circumstances, differences, or most of the time, death. And we're seeing so much going on right now, uh, so many things changing, so many people leaving. So, nothing is permanent. People are coming and going. We will also go, and we may have to come back if we're not careful. We don't ask the right questions. We don't get our priorities right. We don't achieve the main goal of life. And for us at the moment, main goal of life is to make sure we can remember Krishna at the time of our death. At the last moment, we can remember Krishna. That's what we should be concentrating on. So we got to make sure that our conscious is like full of spirituality. We are completely spiritualized. If you're spiritualized, what else would you think about? You will think about Krishna at the time of death, and that's very important. That's a game changer. If you're not thinking about Krishna at the time of death, it doesn't matter what you've done. You'll have to come back, take some kind of body. But if you have been trying hard, Krishna will make sure that you can think of him one way or the other at the time of death. So thank you so much. I want to pass it on to yourselves now and take some guidance from yourselves as well. And so we have Pundikaksh Prabhu. We'll start with you, Prabhu, and we'll take it from there. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Manal Pranam, all close to Srila Prabhupada. Please accept my humble obeisance. Such a nice purports. They have got so much of information. In the morning, we were reading Chaitanya Charitamrita Adilila chapter 12, and almost like the Prabhupada reiterated the same points there also. He was talking about Yamadev. So you can cheat anybody, but you cannot escape from Lord Yamadev. Yamadev know what we have done, what activities we have done throughout our life. So Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam, this material world is made like that, and not to be happy here or get sticked here by being happy, but to realize the Supreme Personality of Godhead or our lost relationship with the Supreme Personality and come back home back to Godhead. So initially, and Prabhupada in his commentary mentioned this point that initially there was only one Veda, which is Yajur Veda, but Srila Vyasadeva, understanding our inabilities, he divided them into 4 Vedas. And even Vedas, it's very hard to understand. That's why like sages are asking questions on behalf of us that what is the essence of all these Vedas? What is absolute good for the human in general? So from the Vedas, we have been given Vedanta Sutras. Even Vedanta Sutra is very hard to understand. So from that, we have got this cream from Vedanta Sutra, which is Srimad Bhagavatam. Even that for that reason, we have got this Upanishads and Puranas. So Puranas, it's mentioned that it is for the less intelligent people, but Puranas are very high, very knowledgeable. We need knowledge even to understand Puranas. It's not easy to understand even any Purana, and we need definitely the guidance of spiritual masters. And one more point, it is many people understand this point that we are not the body, we are the souls, but ending at that point is not sufficient. We have to act in a Krishna consciousness way so that it will help us to get back home back to Godhead. And this knowledge is given only through Vedanta Sutras like Bhagavatam and Bhagavad-Gita. There is no other scripture in this world, I think, other than Bhagavad-Gita, which speaks about Atma Gyan, the soul journey. Before reading Bhagavad Gita, nobody will realize that the soul will take life again and again according to its activities and desires. So it's mentioned in this purport that desire is the main thing which is required. If you don't have desire to come out of this world, then nobody can help. But at least you have developed a desire, and that developing desire can only be possible under the association of devotees and constant reading, listening, and sharing knowledge with other people, and more thinking. So, as mentioned in Bhagavad-Gita, Lord comes in every yuga and gives the knowledge at the time according to the circumstances of that period. So Adi Shankaracharya also came, and it was like Buddha's philosophy which was going on at that time, keeping all the Vedas aside. And so Adi Shankaracharya came to make sure that people come back to reading Vedas again. That's why he taught a philosophy that okay, I am the God, you can become God, but at least start reading the Vedas now. Ahimsa Paramo Dharma is not sufficient. We have to read Vedas and understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he wrote a nice poem also, prayer also, Bhajagovindam, Bhajagovindam, Bhajagovindam Modamate. So these foolish people, don't get entangled in this material world. Pray to Lord Krishna and come out of this world. Yeah, those are the few points, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Chaitanya Prabhu. Very nice. Prabhu? Kiran Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, everybody. What can I say? As Kundakash said, we're so fortunate to have these Acharyas and the wisdom that they have given us, that we must acknowledge that we are so fortunate that these Acharyas, we must glorify them to such an extent that they have given us the cream of the cream of the cream. And hence, it's like in the old days, we used to fight for the cream that used to sit under the lid of the milk bottles. And hence, that should be what we should be striving towards, 400,000 human life forms. And not everybody from those 400,000 are going to be liberated. Only the cream that sits under the lid has got at least a figment of an opportunity for realization and for the Atma and the Paramatma to have some proper union. And we understand that we are like that camel who likes to chew on the thorns and relish the bile juices, the salivary juices, which are mixed with all the other salivary juices, including the blood, right? And the blood that we have spilled is painful, but we still think, this is giving us some enjoyment. This is nothing but a pure mental health delusion. We think we are in an environment that is creating and giving us some degree of joy and happiness. But no, as it's been said time and time again, this is only a figment of our imagination. A little bit of a nice bit of food, a nice bit of drink, a nice bit of this, a nice bit of experience somewhere. It's only a temporary experience. There's a segment that says all men are born equal. All men can't be born equal because there's 400,000 human life forms. And hence, that is an illustration that there has to be an evolution to get to that topmost position to be elevated. And for that, then there's that realization that the Atma is seeking its home, and that home it's its natural blissful self, and that natural blissful self has to be a permanent abode, and that permanent abode is not the material nihilistic world. It is a world that resides elsewhere. And you know, why do we need 4 million plus life forms when the opportunity has been illustrated by the Acharyas in a very, very critical, clinical, Vedic, scientific way to show you the way out and the way home? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Yeah, very nice. Yes. Hindu Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, everyone. Please accept my humble obeisances. Glories to Srila Prabhupada. Yes, some very nice points in these chapters that we've covered, in these verses that we've covered. For me, it's the reminder that this is not our permanent residence. We're eternal beings, but we're looking for something eternal in a temporary place, in a temporary world. So we're looking for something in the wrong place, essentially. We don't belong here. There's so many signs around us that this is not our permanent residence. And I guess I was just thinking that how fortunate that we are that we have managed to wake up to this realization that there is more to life. And we've realized to some extent what the goal of life is, to develop pure God, pure love of Krishna, and to serve him, to serve the devotees. So yeah, for me, the main takeaway is that happiness in this world is fleeting, and it's like a mirage in the desert. So, you know, we just need to look for it in the form, amongst in the midst of Krishna Katha, amongst devotees, service to the Lord, etc. That's where our happiness lies. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Yes, thank you, Hare Krishna. Yeah, Jiva. I hope we have waken up, or partly, at least partly, sort of like, so just getting up now. Philosophically, I think we have woken up because we now are understanding that there's more to life, like you said, and philosophically we have woken up, but mentally, physically, have we woken up? Slowly. It takes time. It takes time, of course. Thank you so much. Okay. Right. Parveen Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Good to everyone. Yes, thank you. So all I'll say is we are very, very fortunate that we've been given this simple formula by simply chanting and reading the Shastras, Gita and Bhagavatam. We can get out of this material entanglement, and we are already experiencing that, how it is helping, although like I'm still learning ABC, but we can see the difference. So, and also in these shlokas, we are told how to pay obeisances to all the acharyas. And here in the verse, it's saying to Narayan, the presiding deity, the object, Narayan, and the author. So we need to show our appreciation all the time. And for me, I just realized that we need to saturate our consciousness with Krishna so much. There is not a space left even for a grain of sand. So at the time of death, so there's only one thing in our mind and heart, only Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. And also like about the happiness as well, it mentions, everybody is looking for happiness, and there is no happiness in Bhagavad-Gita.
Sure.
Krishna has said, the Kalyama Shashwatam, and we can see clearly, now the fires in Los Angeles, all these rich people, they're losing their homes. With COVID, we saw nobody was safe, whether you're rich or poor. So it's only Krishna's name that's going to purify us and save us. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
We need to show gratitude
Sorry, Prabhuji, your voice is not very clear now.
I don't know what happens sometimes.
No, little bit. Now speak.
Wobbly. And good now, Mataji.
Yes, yes. Now
I
I
think
can.
something happens and it sort of corrects itself. Yeah, I'm just saying that it's nice to have that attitude of gratitude of where where we're getting the knowledge, where we're getting everything for free, and and it's like precious, it's like priceless knowledge that we're getting. And so yeah, it's nice to recognize the authority, recognize the parampara, recognize who's giving us this knowledge and where we're coming from. This because most of the time we just sort of sleepwalking and we think we are the owners and I've done this, I've done that, and at my own power, my own strength. But somebody's given us all these things. Everything has been given to us. So yeah, we need to recognize that. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Neeta Mata, would you like to say something?
I just think in this time is passing by, everything, life changes. How do we navigate this world? So we've been given this lending hand, helping hand by Srimad Bhagavatam. So there's so much knowledge we're learning every day, and all association of devotees. Everything adds, and little by little, you see it differently and makes us a different, the quality which we're looking for. Like Krishna says that this material world is dukhalayam. So how do we navigate through that? This is how we've been. It's good to go through the scriptures and to enjoy all this, all the nectar.
Thank you, Mataji. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we hear again and again, and sometimes, like Bhagavad-Gita as well. Srila Prabhupada repeats himself so many times, and people think, why is Prabhupada repeating himself? Well, one reason is context, because he's saying the same thing in a different context. And secondly, we are taking all the knowledge, we are listening, but we got to start, using it in our life as well. That's having knowledge, and then we utilize it. So it's there to be used. Thank you so much, Mother. We got Suresh Prabhu today. Thank you for joining, Prabhu. I don't know if you'd like to say anything. Okay, so that's fine.
Hare,
Sorry, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji. Thank you for your message this morning. I saw it. I said I have to join it now. Like every time I miss it, but Hare Krishna. Thank you for sending me a message.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for joining. You can just listen as well. If you want to share something, you're welcome to share. If you just want to listen, that's okay as well. It's quite all right. It's most important to hear as well. So if you want to share something that stood out for you today, please share.
Hare Krishna. Just happy to be here. That's it.
Thank you so much, Hare Krishna. Ranjan, you would say.
Hare Krishna, everyone. So the key message again from Krishna to all of us is that whatever we are enjoying in this material life, whatever we are experiencing is, we think that, oh, this is what the goal of my life is. This is how I'm going to go about it and achieve it. But we know when we see how the world operates around us, everything has a start and everything has a finish, whether it is material, whether it is man-made, or even life which comes from God has got a start and a finish as well. So everything is given us for a certain number of hours or certain number of years to enjoy or to use or to play with or to benefit from. So if we remember just this much, and another thing if we can remember is that whatever we find is very good, very enjoyable for ourselves in this life is just 0.000% of what there is in the spiritual world, then I think we will never want to come back here, because everything we get in this life has got consequence. If we want to earn money, we have to sacrifice our health, we have to sacrifice our time, and nothing comes without a price tag. We want to buy something from shop, we have to part with so much hard-earned money as well. And hard-earned money, to earn money, we have to part with so much hours of hard work. So everything has got consequence, and if we can remember that whatever here we think is of a brilliant value is nothing, if we can remember that what is in spiritual world is many fold times more than what it is here. So if we can, the two key lessons for me are that remember the temporariness of the life and everything else around it, and also the happiness coming from it. If we can remember that, then I think we will be more eager to remember Lord at the end of our lifetimes, and then we won't have to make the rounds into the 8.4 million species, taking birth as this species, that species again and again. So this is what we have to learn, that we have to make sure that we can remember God in every situation, every moment of our lives. So the last moments of our lives, God will be there in our consciousness without any effort. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Yes, so many lessons to learn. And you have to remember that also, it's our free will that brought us here. Free will is very dangerous. Free will is what brought us here in the material world, because we decided to exercise our free will in the spiritual world, that we had to end up in the material world. And here at the in the shloka, we're saying that it's there, everything is there, facilities there, but people don't want to use that. Again, we're exercising our free will. We're choosing not to. We don't want it, right? We're saying we don't want this. So free will has to be used. We have to not just use free will whimsically. We have to, if we have this facility, we have this tool, then we should think hard, or be responsible free will user. I think that's a good slogan. We have to be responsible in how we use our free will. So thank you. Please keep using your free will and joining, and let's learn together. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.
Hare
Thank you so
Krishna.
much.
Hare Krishna.
Join again Friday. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.